How to live in the wealth timeline. The quantum secret to rapid financial shifts. Stop scrolling. What I'm about to tell you will sound impossible, but it's going to explain why you're stuck financially and how to break free in a way that will seem almost miraculous. Right now, at this exact moment, there are infinite versions of you living infinite versions of your life across parallel timelines. There's a version of you struggling with money, the one you're experiencing right now. But there's also a version of you that's wealthy, abundant, thriving financially. That version isn't in your future. That version exists right now, in this moment, in a parallel timeline. And here's what changes everything. Your financial timeline is a choice, not a destiny. You can shift from the struggle timeline to the wealth timeline instantly. Not gradually over years. Instantly. Once you understand how. I know this sounds like science fiction, but this is quantum physics. In quantum mechanics, the many worlds interpretation shows that all possible realities exist simultaneously. Every choice you could make, every outcome that could happen, exists right now in parallel timelines. The broke version of you is real. The wealthy version of you is equally real. They're both broadcasting right now. The only difference is which frequency you're tuned to. And you can change frequencies. You can quantum shift from one timeline to another the moment you understand the mechanics and apply them. Here's what most people don't realize. You're not creating wealth from nothing. You're not manifesting something that doesn't exist. You're shifting into a timeline where wealth already exists. The money is already there. The opportunities are already there. The success is already there. You're just not experiencing that timeline because you're locked into a different one through your habitual frequency. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold is a vote for which timeline you experience. And most people are unconsciously voting for the struggle timeline thousands of times per day through their mental and emotional patterns. But the moment you understand that timelines are a choice, the moment you realize you can consciously select which reality you experience, everything changes. You're no longer a victim of circumstances. You're no longer waiting for your life to slowly improve. You're actively choosing which version of reality you live in. And when you choose the wealth timeline consistently enough, you quantum leap into that reality. Your circumstances shift so fast it seems impossible. But it's not impossible. It's quantum mechanics applied to consciousness. The wealth timeline isn't somewhere far away. It's right here, overlapping with your current reality, separated only by frequency. Think of it like radio stations. All the stations are broadcasting simultaneously in the same space, but you only hear the one you're tuned to. You're currently tuned to the struggle station. But the wealth station is broadcasting right now, in the same space. You just need to change your frequency to tune into it. And the moment you do, your experience of reality shifts instantly. This is why some people experience sudden, dramatic financial breakthroughs that seem to come out of nowhere. They didn't slowly build wealth, they quantum shifted timelines. One day they were struggling, the next day everything changed. They received unexpected money. A massive opportunity appeared. The right person found them. Their business suddenly took off. These aren't lucky breaks, these are timeline shifts. The person's frequency changed dramatically, and they literally jumped from one reality to another. The question is, which timeline are you living in right now, and how do you make the shift to the wealth timeline? That's exactly what I'm about to show you. This isn't theory. This is the practical protocol for consciously choosing and living in the wealth timeline starting today. Not someday. Today. Because the wealth timeline is already here, already real, already waiting for you to tune into it. Let me show you exactly how. The mechanics of timeline shifting. Let's break down exactly how timeline shifting works so you can deliberately engineer your leap into the wealth timeline. In quantum physics, your consciousness doesn't just observe reality. It selects which reality you experience from infinite possibilities. Every moment, through your focus, emotion, and expectation, you're either staying in your current timeline or shifting toward a different one. Understanding these three mechanics gives you complete control over which timeline you live in. First, Focus is selection. Your attention is like a spotlight that illuminates certain aspects of reality while leaving others in darkness. Whatever you focus on consistently becomes prominent in your experience. Not because you're creating it, but because you're selecting it from all available timelines. If you focus predominantly on lack, what you don't have, what's not working, financial problems, you're selecting and strengthening the struggle timeline. Your focus is literally tuning you into that frequency. If you focus predominantly on abundance, what you do have, what's working, financial possibilities, you're selecting the wealth timeline. Where your attention goes consistently is which timeline you experience. Most people focus on struggle all day long without realizing it. They wake up thinking about bills. They check their account with anxiety. They complain about prices. They worry about the future. They notice everything that's expensive or lacking. Every single one of these focus points is a vote for the struggle timeline. They're selecting that reality through their attention thousands of times per day, then wondering why they can't escape struggle. They don't realize their focus is the lock keeping them in that timeline. Second, emotion is propulsion. While focus selects the timeline, emotion is what actually moves you into it with speed and power. Thoughts point you in a direction, but emotions transport you there. When you think about struggle with strong negative emotion, fear, anxiety, resentment, despair, you don't just stay in the struggle timeline, you quantum leap deeper into it. The emotional intensity locks you in. When you think about abundance with strong positive emotion, excitement, gratitude, joy, certainty, you quantum leap rapidly toward the wealth timeline. Emotion is the accelerator. This is why visualization without genuine feeling doesn't work. You're trying to shift timelines using only focus, without the emotional power to actually make the jump. Third, expectation is stabilization. Expectation is different from hope or wish. Hope says, maybe. Expectation says, this is happening. When you genuinely expect struggle, when you anticipate financial limitation as inevitable, you stabilize yourself in the struggle timeline. Your expectation creates gravitational pull keeping you there. When you genuinely expect abundance, when you anticipate prosperity as natural and inevitable, you stabilize yourself in the wealth timeline. Your expectation anchors you there. Most people say they want wealth but actually expect struggle. Their words say one thing, their gut-level expectation says another. And expectation always wins because it's operating at a deeper level than conscious desire. You must shift expectation, not just desire, to shift timelines. This requires being brutally honest about what you actually expect versus what you wish you expected. Here's what makes timeline shifting so powerful. There are decision points throughout every day, moments when multiple timelines converge and you can make a clear choice. These decision points often come during challenges or unexpected events. Someone cancels. An expense appears. An opportunity presents itself. In these moments, you choose your timeline through your response. Struggle timeline response. This always happens to me. Nothing ever works out. I can't catch a break. This response locks you into struggle. Wealth timeline response. This is redirecting me towards something better. Everything is working for my highest good. Better opportunities are coming. This response shifts you toward wealth. Every response is a timeline choice. Choose consciously. Identifying your current timeline. Before you can shift timelines, you need clear awareness of which timeline you're currently locked into. Most people don't consciously realize which reality they're experiencing. They're living it by default rather than by choice. So let's assess your current timeline through specific indicators that reveal which frequency you're broadcasting and therefore which reality you're experiencing. First indicator: your dominant thoughts about money. In the struggle timeline, thoughts are consistently negative. I never have enough. Money is so hard. Why does this always happen to me? I'll never get ahead. Everyone else is luckier than me. These aren't occasional negative thoughts. They're the background soundtrack of your mind. In the wealth timeline, thoughts are consistently positive. Money flows to me. I always have what I need. Things work out for me. Opportunities appear regularly. I'm financially blessed. Which set of thoughts dominates your mental space most of the time? Be honest. Not what you want to think, but what you actually think. Second indicator, your emotional baseline. In the struggle timeline, your baseline emotion around money is anxiety, stress, fear, frustration, or resentment. Even when things are temporarily okay, there's underlying dread. In the wealth timeline, your baseline emotion is peace, trust, confidence, gratitude, or excitement. Even when facing challenges, there's underlying calm. Your emotional baseline isn't about occasional feelings, it's about what you feel most consistently. Which describes your experience. Third indicator, your behavioral patterns. In the struggle timeline, behaviors include checking your account compulsively from fear, avoiding financial matters from anxiety, making desperate decisions, hoarding from scarcity, or spending impulsively to compensate for deprivation. In the wealth timeline, behaviors include managing money confidently, making decisions calmly, investing readily, saving from wisdom, spending consciously and joyfully. Your habitual actions reveal which timeline you're in because behavior manifests frequency. Fourth indicator, your actual results. What's showing up in your financial life? In the struggle timeline, irregular income, constant unexpected expenses, opportunities falling through, feeling perpetually behind, struggling to make ends meet. In the wealth timeline, consistent income, money appearing unexpectedly, opportunities materializing, feeling financially secure, having more than enough. Your results are the most honest indicator because they perfectly reflect the timeline you've been locked into through your frequency. Results don't lie. Fifth indicator, your response to others' success. In the struggle timeline, seeing someone else prosper triggers envy, resentment, or belief that their success diminishes your possibilities. That's not fair. That could never happen to me. They have advantages I don't. In the wealth timeline, others' success triggers inspiration and proof of possibility. If they can do it, so can I. Their abundance shows what's possible. There's plenty for everyone. Your reaction to others' wealth reveals which timeline you're aligned with. Once you've honestly assessed these 5 indicators, you'll see clearly which timeline you're currently experiencing. Most people discover they're locked in the struggle timeline, which explains everything about their financial reality. But here's the empowering truth. Your current timeline is just your habitual frequency. It's not permanent. It's not destiny. It's simply where you've been tuned by default. And you can change frequencies intentionally starting right now. The Wealth Timeline Shift Protocol. Now the practical protocol for shifting from struggle timeline to wealth timeline. This isn't theoretical. This is the exact process that creates timeline shifts when applied with commitment and consistency. The protocol has 4 essential practices that work together to change your frequency so dramatically that you quantum leap realities. You need all 4 working in coordination. Practice 1. Morning Timeline Activation. The first 30 minutes after waking are when your brain is most programmable, transitioning from subconscious states into conscious awareness. Use this window intentionally. Before checking your phone or engaging with external reality, spend 10 minutes experiencing the wealth timeline as your current reality. Not visualizing it as future or separate, experiencing it as now. Close your eyes. See your life from the wealth timeline. See your bank account balance where you want it. Feel the emotions of financial freedom, relief, joy, peace, excitement. Hear conversations about your success. Experience decisions you make from abundance. Make it so vivid that your brain can't distinguish it from memory. This isn't daydreaming about the future. This is selecting and experiencing a timeline that exists now. This morning activation sets your frequency for the entire day, tuning you to wealth rather than struggle. Practice 2. Instant thought correction. Throughout your day, struggle thoughts will arise. This is normal after years of habitual patterns. But now, the moment you notice a struggle thought, you immediately interrupt and replace it. Struggle thought. I can't afford this. Immediate correction. Money flows to me easily and I can have what I desire. Struggle thought. This never works out. Immediate correction. Everything works out for my highest good. This isn't denial, this is conscious timeline selection. Every thought is a vote. You're voting for wealth timeline instead of struggle timeline. Do this instantly, every time, all day. This practice alone can shift your timeline within weeks because you're interrupting the automatic pattern that's been keeping you locked in struggle. You're choosing wealth consciously instead of choosing struggle unconsciously. Practice 3. Evidence obsession. In the wealth timeline, evidence of prosperity appears regularly. Start noticing that evidence now in your current experience. Even small things. Someone buys you coffee. Evidence. You find money on the ground. Evidence. A bill is lower than expected. Evidence. You have a good idea. Evidence. Any form of abundance, no matter how minor, gets acknowledged enthusiastically. This is evidence I'm shifting into the wealth timeline. This practice retrains your brain to notice abundance instead of lack, which literally changes which timeline you perceive and therefore experience. Your brain finds what you tell it to look for. Tell it to find wealth timeline evidence and it will. The more evidence you notice, the more your belief strengthens that you're shifting, which accelerates the actual shift. This creates momentum. Practice 4. Decision from the endpoint. Every time you face a decision, ask, what would I choose if I were already living in the wealth timeline? Then make that choice, even if it feels uncomfortable from your current position. Maybe wealth timeline you would invest in that opportunity, decline that underpaid work, spend confidently on quality, or ask for higher compensation. Make those choices now. Each endpoint decision is a micro timeline shift. You're acting as if you're already there, which sends a powerful signal to the quantum field that this is your reality. The field responds by bringing circumstances that match those choices. These 4 practices, morning activation, instant thought correction, evidence obsession, and endpoint decisions, create sustained frequency shift that causes timeline jumping. Commit to all 4 daily for 30 days and you will experience your reality shift. Living in the wealth timeline. Let's explore what life looks like when you've successfully shifted into and stabilized in the wealth timeline, because understanding the destination helps you navigate the journey with confidence. When you've completed the timeline shift, your experience of reality transforms in ways that seem almost miraculous but are simply the natural result of living in a different quantum reality where different circumstances exist. The most immediate change is internal certainty. In the struggle timeline, you're plagued by constant doubt, anxiety, and fear about money. In the wealth timeline, you experience deep, unshakable knowing that you're financially supported. You don't hope things will work out, you know they will. You don't worry about having enough, you trust abundance is natural. This certainty isn't based on your bank balance, it's based on which timeline you're locked into. When you're in the wealth timeline, certainty is your default state because that's the frequency of that reality. Money flows differently in the wealth timeline. Instead of struggle and scarcity, you experience consistent flow from multiple sources. Money appears from expected and unexpected directions. Income is steadier and more abundant. Opportunities materialize and complete instead of evaporating. The feast or famine cycle stops because you're in a timeline where flow is natural rather than blocked. This doesn't necessarily mean instant millions. It means the struggle stops and natural abundance begins. Opportunities multiply and complete in the wealth timeline. In struggle timeline, opportunities were rare and usually dissolved before manifesting. In wealth timeline, possibilities appear regularly and actually come to fruition. People reach out with offers. Collaborations develop naturally. Ideas turn into income. Things you initiate work out. This is because you're in a reality where success is the norm rather than the exception. You're no longer fighting against your timeline, you're flowing with it. Your decisions become clear and confident. The paralysis and confusion of the struggle timeline dissolve. You know what to do. you trust your intuition. You choose quickly, and your choices work out because you're making them from wealth frequency rather than fear frequency. This clarity accelerates everything because you're not wasting time and energy in indecision or wrong choices. You're aligned with the timeline where your best path is obvious. Synchronicities become normal. The right person appears exactly when needed. Resources show up at perfect timing. Conversations lead to valuable connections. Things line up so perfectly it seems orchestrated, because it is. The wealth timeline operates with flow and synchronicity as natural features. What seemed like rare luck in the struggle timeline is everyday occurrence in the wealth timeline. You stop being surprised by good timing and start expecting it. Perhaps most powerfully, you experience complete permission to prosper. The guilt, fear, and unworthiness that characterized the struggle timeline simply aren't present in the wealth timeline. You know you deserve abundance. You feel worthy of prosperity. You give yourself full permission to succeed without apology. This internal shift changes everything about how you show up. Bolder, more confident, more open to receiving, more willing to claim your value. Here's the truth you must fully embrace. Your financial timeline is a choice, not a destiny. The struggle you've been experiencing isn't your fate, it's simply the timeline you've been locked into through habitual frequency. The wealth timeline exists right now, fully formed, broadcasting constantly, waiting for you to tune into it. You don't need to create it or build it or earn access to it. You just need to shift your frequency to match it. Every moment is a choice point. Every thought is selecting a timeline. Every emotion is propelling you toward one reality or another. Every decision is locking you into one experience or another. You've been making these choices unconsciously, which is why you've been stuck. But now you know. Now you can choose consciously. Now you can deliberately shift into the wealth timeline and live there. The protocol is simple. Activate wealth timeline every morning. Correct struggle thoughts instantly throughout the day. Obsess over finding evidence of abundance, and make all decisions from your wealth timeline self. Do this consistently for 30 days and your reality will shift so dramatically you'll barely recognize your life. This isn't gradual improvement, this is quantum shifting. You're not slowly changing circumstances, you're jumping to a different timeline where different circumstances already exist. Your wealth timeline is here. It's real. It's waiting. The only question is, will you choose it? Will you tune your frequency to match it? Will you commit to the practices that lock you into it? Or will you stay in the struggle timeline by default? The power is completely yours. The choice is completely yours. And the abundant life you desire isn't far away in some distant future. It's right here, right now, in a parallel timeline that you can shift into today. Choose your timeline. Shift your frequency. Welcome to wealth.